All right, we're live. Welcome to the 5th episode of GuardianCast. We are sticking with that name. I got a whole 5 votes on Twitter in favor of yes, so it's done. It's finalized. It's patented.
I'm so into it.
Yep.
Intellectual property is ours.
Right. So we have a special guest this week who didn't show up. And so it's going to be us 3 again. It's pretty awesome.
We're going to talk about some things that we like and some things that we don't like.
Yeah, and
mostly things that we like.
And confirmed HK is the special guest because he has a new name.
He's gone.
There's no more HK. He's been killed and replaced by whoever this guy is.
Exo Fury.
Yeah, so HK went through a full rebrand and has a new name, and if you want to kind of just talk about that for a second, then rebrand
Exo
yourself.
Fury is a guest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yep, that's what happened.
Okay.
It was about a month of planning, and
really?
Yeah.
That's
well,
awesome.
I mean, well, see, the thing with numbers to me, and I always kind of felt that way with numbers, and HK117 doesn't mean anything outside of like a Star Wars reference and a Halo reference. So for me, it was like it made sense to become something that that's uniquely me. Although it might have definitions in the.
So it's Exo Fury, but is it also like Exo Furry? Like, are you one of those people who goes to like anonymous furry?
So Fury is
activities?
spelled with an I, but Fury is actually has a double meaning that it. That's not water in the shot glass. It's Fury actually is Japanese.
Okay,
it's for free.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right.
I actually didn't know that when I created it. When I created it, I was just like, oh, it's just like a more interesting way to spell Fury, because I could have probably gone with Fury with a Y.
Yeah, or even Furry with 2 R's.
Nope, definitely not. Definitely not.
All right, so let's get to some Destiny stuff here. We're just gonna jump right into it. We've got the TWAB up here in the video this week, guys. It's going to be a dynamic video. It's going to get so many views on YouTube because I'm going to be scrolling up through this TWAB. You can see it right on the screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So the TWAB starts by talking about the faction rally for the 3rd week in a row, and I just can't do it anymore. Like, we have brought this up on 3 occasions now. New Monarchy won. That's the only new news, and I think we can just leave it at that. As far as the faction rallies.
New Monarchy.
Yeah.
I don't know how I forgot that the faction rally. Like, I played Destiny all week, but I forgot that it was faction rally.
You never turned in the
tokens. I really needed a dire promise and some dead orbit shaders and some monarchy gear. But at the end of the week, I looked at my inventory and I had like 1,200 future war cult tokens. Crap.
Oh.
What am I going to do with these?
Oh, yeah, because you wanted that submachine gun, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I started the week, I was like, stochastic variable check, and I forgot all about everything else.
Gotcha. Yeah, there'll be another one. You know?
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, probably next month if I had to take a guess. So the next thing to talk about is Iron Banner is next week, and the only downside is it's not the new 6v6 Iron Banner yet. It's still going to be the same old Iron Banner. It's going to be Clash.
Clash is better than Control. 3
new weapons we're looking at here. We got, looks like a Pulse, an Auto, and a Grenade Launcher. So hopefully they're actually good. You know, I'd like to see some new weapons.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice knowing that we're like about to enter a new like weapons balance patch, and that pulse rifles are definitely seeing a change.
Yeah, I would definitely hold on to this one no matter what. It looks like the old Hawksaw. Yeah.
Yeah.
Except a reskin.
Well, they said that he's going to be selling them directly.
Which is nice.
I'm just saying, if it's like trash now, just hold on to it. You know, that's probably a good idea, just in case.
I mean, it'll probably. I mean, realistically, if they both buff pulses at all, it'll probably be good for PC. And on console, it'll be the same fast rate of fire. Archetypes are going to be the best because stability issues and aim assist. But But for PC players, yeah, definitely hold on.
Is this are these two models new? Like, are they reskins of anything, or of the
Yeah,
they are new?
yeah. No. They're both reskin.
Oh,
But
really?
they
Okay.
look really good.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
better
I
than.
mean, you can tell they look very very much of a reskin.
Yeah.
Like the other one looks like a Scathe Lock or whatever it is, and then the other one looks like something we've seen from like 100 times.
On the
Flash
topic
and Thunder.
of reskins, there was a really good Reddit thread this week. I'll see if I
Yeah.
can pull it up, and he was talking about how instead of making a bunch of different reskins of the same model weapon, you could make it a progression system where it like starts out, you know, and then like small modifications happen to it, and it gets better and better and better until you get the final version of it unlocked, which I think would be a lot better than having like
Yeah.
27 better devils that do barely anything different, and there's only one worth having, you know?
Yeah, I'm fine with like the same model being used. I'd just like, if there's like a better Devil's model with better range, like how
Hmm.
much more effort is it to like put like a little cylinder on the end? It's like, oh, it's got a silencer or whatever.
Right.
Like use the same model, just slap some crap on it.
I'm curious. I'm curious to know how much like design effort goes into that kind of thing too, because like
Yeah.
when you think about it, like they said, oh, we've got a problem with the geometry of whatever weapons, and that's what's taking whatever 3 months.
Right.
Like it's a model of a gun.
Yeah, I'm sure they're working out the design of what it is going to be perk wise too, but it is geometry. While
Mhm.
we're talking about this, I'm just going to pull it up on the screen so you guys can actually see what this looks like too, as far as the Reddit post, and then I can link it in the description of the YouTube video. But you can see it like starts out a green Better Devils, goes through blue Legendary with slight modifications and perk changes until you get to an orange one. I'm not sure if they want it to be exotic or just to indicate rarity there with like the best perks on it. I think that's a really cool idea. You know, it would give a sense of progression to the game. I'm just gonna X that out. But
Yeah, no, I mean I think it's I mean that my biggest like all of the systems implications there are nice and would be cool, but it is a lot to ask. Like baseline, like if you're gonna reskin things for me, like my takeaway is like just add like a little something and I'll feel like 80 times better.
it's a lot to ask,
Because
but I'm not asking for it like tomorrow or something, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, for sure. But I mean even like in the near future, it's like weapons having a different shader on them don't matter if you can change the shader.
Right. Exactly. So,
Well, didn't they say they were working on something for? I mean, specifically about the shader that you said that they were working on. I know we talked about it. They were working on a more permanent solution for shaders
yeah,
that they want them to be
not
uh
consumable anymore.
non-consumable.
Yeah. Well, they didn't confirm that that's 100% what they're doing. They said that was one of the options they were looking at with shaders because of the dismantle problem and how people aren't really happy with the system in general.
Yeah. I
But
mean, the system is super good for getting us to return to Eververse to a Metro Shift, but
yeah.
other than, I mean, I
Mhm.
mean, that's what it feels like. Like when you first like tackle the system, you're like, what is the system for? Why do we do it? And then it's like, oh, okay, it's because Eververse. But I mean,
Mhm.
it is nice to be able to put shaders like individually on things. I'm into that.
Right.
And I'm into the fact that you can put it on guns now, like legendary guns. It's just like it's iffy that like some of the nicest shaders in the game I can't earn
Mhm.
directly. It's just like experiential, which I'm not into.
Right.
Otherwise, I'd be fine with it. It's just like right now I'm out of Metro Shift, and I really need Metro Shift, and I don't really want to pay $20 for more Metro.
Well, so like that comes to kind of the boils down the problem of the Eververse and why the shaders are just being taken out of the game and putting into the engrams is because uh things like that, because it's not obtainable anywhere else. Like what I said from the very very beginning is that I'm fine with the Eververse selling everything that she's selling. I just want to be able to earn it somewhere else, and I want it to tell me where I can earn it. Like I want to look at a shader and say, where do I earn this?
Yeah.
And the shader
Yeah,
says
that'd be cool.
you can earn it from this.
Well,
So
they
like,
can't even get the tooltips right on like weapons and stuff though. So you want them to do that on shaders.
yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do.
yeah.
I think that like something like that would like where it's obtained from any kind of weapon. Like
It would make a lot of sense. I'm just saying, like, we got those new variants, the emblem variants this week, and like a lot of them, they are not correct. You know, like the Nightfall one is like unlocks at a certain score threshold, and we'll talk about exactly how it works. But it doesn't really
It's-
unlock at a certain score threshold. Like at a certain
It's a
score
terrible
threshold,
system.
there's like RNG. It's really, really, really
there's
stupid.
RNG involved
Yeah.
in getting an achievement in a video game. I don't understand.
Yeah, yeah. It literally makes no sense at all.
Like you did it, but you might not get the reward for it.
Right.
So I mean, it's like, so if you score 80, like it's like progressive RNG. Like your RNG gets better for obtaining.
Yeah,
But
but
the highest
and
is
also
50-50.
the variants though
Yeah.
are not like you can only get this one at 80,000. You can only get this one at no. It's like at these thresholds you have this percentage of getting all of them. You know, certain percentage of getting all of them. So none of them
Right.
indicate any higher level of achievement. It's just a bunch of random emblems.
But the
pretty
highest,
much.
you know, like you said, we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But like,
All right, so
as far as Crucible weapons, they look good.
yep.
I don't know the other two, but I mean, I want the one that looks unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agreed.
So, oh, by the
Hey,
way,
hey, really
your
quick.
Iron Banner progress from last Iron Banner will
Can we
carry
talk
over.
about the thumbnail? Can we talk about the guy holding the shield in the tower?
Where is that at?
At the top.
Because we're
This
going
guy?
through the week at Bungie.
Yeah, it's up at the top.
Yeah, it's the very first thing.
Yeah, it's like a sentinel shield that's like not glowing, kind of.
It's like a non-super
Yeah.
shield wielded by a Titan.
And new monarchy
want that?
stuff.
Do I want that? I think that. I mean, yeah.
Are you theorizing about this or?
Oh, I just think it's. I mean, it's not like an NPC Titan. It's like a normal Titan,
Yeah,
like chilling in the tower with a shield.
I think it's fishy that he's in the exact like I popped my sentinel animation.
Yeah, it's fishy, but I mean, all right, shut Huffy down.
I don't know what you're
do you
getting
think-
at, though. What do you think it
you're
is?
looking at right there? That's the question. What do you?
I mean, a
what do you
heavy
think you're
weapon
seeing?
would be sick.
A
Like,
shield is a heavy weapon.
yeah, like
How would it work? Like you throw it and it's like a boomerang or something?
no. Throwing is like the Sentinels thing.
Yeah.
We got to leave that. It's Vogue, just a Vogue shield. It's a heavy weapon.
Vogue shield, so you can like glide through the air, like stay suspended in the air pretty much, and like
No, I mean, you can swipe,
okay,
and you can punch, like swipe, punch.
not
punch.
like fire, no
Like-
supering fire out of it or
You
anything,
No,
don't think
no
that
super
might
fire.
be? You don't
Just
think
su-
that might be an emote
or
instead?
slamming? Can you slam with it?
It could be an emote, but like they've done pretty well with the emotes about saying like this is our theme for the emotes. Like if we're going to pull objects out of nowhere, they're going to be this weird like light. Like so far there have been no emotes where you like pull like physical objects
It's a
out
cell
of nowhere.
phone, right?
Well, that's a light thing too, though.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
all
a
light.
little. It's a bulby light thing.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just saying if we got a shield that I could swipe and punch, I'd be.
Well, they might make a juggernaut. You know, if that was the case, then you'd be looking at the possible juggernaut mode where you have the rumble.
Hexblitz thinks it's an Eververse shield.
Oh my god! It's not an Eververse logo.
Might be.
It's literally the Titan symbol. It's literally the Titan symbol. The 6 walls of the city
Yeah, it
divided
is.
into 4 sects of Titans, not to be all lore-y and stuff.
Yeah, except it's missing 2 of the triangle. Like it's not divided.
No, it's not. There are only 4 sects of Titans that took care of the 6 walls.
Okay. So let's get to the good stuff, the PvP stuff. So they had Derek Carroll on this week to talk about PvP. Finally.
Oh.
Derek Earl.
Yep, Derek Carroll, the guy who is famous on Twitter for If you guys know, in Destiny 1, people said, why do we have to have skill-based matchmaking? I just want to have fun with my friends. And he said, try strikes. Yeah, it went over well.
Yeah, that sounds like it would go over pretty well.
But so, yeah, we got some exciting stuff here. Iron Banner's pretty much going back to Destiny 1, it seems like. We're going to have 6v6. Match time limit's going to be 12 minutes. Score limit 125 points. Respawn time of 7 seconds. All control zones are neutral.
High.
Yeah, it is high, but there's more people. So, I mean, that I think, what was it in Destiny 1? Like 5 seconds? Does anybody know?
For
no?
6v6? No, it was always 3.
3? Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I think for 6v6 on these map sizes, like,
the respawn times are okay.
The respawn timer is good to keep things thinner and make people value their life.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's cool. I think it adds a different flow to the game mode.
Okay.
I think it seems like it would make the game mode feel slow, but I think in reality it's going to make it feel faster because of the way like map and spawn rotation is going to work with the longer respawn. I think it'll feel faster.
I want to talk about this control zone starting off neutral again.
Okay.
This to me kind of feels like a change of going back to Destiny 1 for the sake of going back to Destiny 1, because I don't see really anything appealing about spawning right behind a capture point and then like 4 people from your team just standing in place after you spawn in.
Well, the maps are I think what this actually is, and maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully, I'm not. Is that when they implement the other sandbox changes, this will actually make sense with the size of the maps that we have. Because the problem with spawning with the spawn system now is that you, like you said, you spawn right in front of a cap zone or an uncapped zone, and you're just like, well, I just got a point because I'm good at this game and I just spawned in and here I am. But really, it's because you were just wiped and you spawned over to a zone because the other team can't spawn there.
I mean, I
guess
guess
the other sandbox changes.
Another thing they're probably afraid of is all 12 people going for 1 point at the very beginning, right?
Yeah, that would be bad.
But
yeah, I think
good teams are just going to leave one person to cap that point and send all 5 of the other people at B. Or at A, depending on how the spawns are and the map layout.
I mean, possibly.
They would have to spawn you so far away from the first map. Like, I don't even know what it is on Distant Shore, but on Distant, like that's what I'm saying. Like a map like Distant Shore, where would you spawn them?
Well,
where would the initial spawn be? Because it's got to be far enough away.
That's a bad map for control anyway. But yeah, because
it's going to be one of the maps we use though.
Yeah, it is. But that's unless they move.
I mean, the thing is, at least it's a choice, right? Because now that they're up to 3 people, you can speed the rate of zone capture.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you're at least making, like, if nothing else, an aesthetic decision in the first 2 seconds of the map. Like, how many people are we using to cap this zone? Like, what are we sending at whatever zone? Like, you start off the game with strategy, and then with like a burst of excitement for the cappers and like super energy, like right off the bat. Like there's a lot of things happening. I don't think it's a bad deal. It adds more action to the first 5 seconds of the map. It's good momentum.
Okay. Would be even better if they put the heavy right in front of like B or A or C or whatever, and they made it a dynamic spawn point system based on what they want people to fight over.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Or they could put they could actually put like the heavy on the opposite side of the map of B, so that you have to make a choice. Do I want to go for heavy or do I want to cap B immediately? Right?
Well, you go for heavy, but that's
yeah, but at least
that's the right choice. Get rockets.
Okay.
Especially control, man.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the cluster bomb rocket, like the sins of the past?
I'm gonna get this triple kill, and then they're gonna have to wait 7 seconds to come back here.
Oh no.
So the other thing is that it's going to take longer to cap the zones, and they're going to give you faster capping speed for having up to 3 people in it. So that's back to Destiny 1. We're going to have people standing on the points, which I think is good. It's like helpful for getting multi-kills, and it's like a risk-reward decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm into it.
You get super energy also for capping a point, so that's good. So it's basically, like I said, everything is back to Destiny 1 rules, as far as I know.
Well, except for I mean, yeah. Basically, the 6v6 is like Destiny 1.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good move. Not because they're Destiny 1 rules, but because the rules work really well for 6v6 control.
Not for this map size, but like I said, and that's the point that Recked was pointing out. But I think what they're making this with in mind is I think that build that they're using to decide this is the new build that people are working with the Crucible. Because I don't think they would make a mode like this because it sounds permanent. It sounds like this is how we're gonna do Iron Banner from now on.
Yeah.
So this Iron Banner might suck a little bit more, but with the sandbox changes, it might be really, really awesome.
It's a test balloon probably too. I don't know that they're 100% like sure what they want to do going forward. That they probably want to see how this plays out and make adjustments.
Yeah, it's true. They always seem more sure than they actually are, and they're like, wait, this is going to be so cool, and then it's like, thank you for our feedback. We're not doing that next time.
I'm still sticking to my point that I think they should bring back the whole Light Matters thing in Iron Banner too. I'd like to see that.
It should,
or at least have an event
should.
in Destiny where.
It should in Crucible to begin with. Like at least do a little bit. Like you shouldn't be able to walk around with a stubborn oak.
In quick play.
Why not though?
Yeah, I don't know.
There's even less
that.
weapon diversity. If I can't walk into a Crucible match with like my green guns that are really good, then that's even less diversity.
No, yeah, I want to see regular Crucible be able to do that. I just want one playlist where Light Matters. That's all I'm asking for.
I think Trials it should be the playlist where Light Matters. I think that you should be penalized for playing below. If you want something to be end game, like the end game mode for like PvE or PvE, Light should matter.
Okay. And that's a good way too for if anything gets like broken in PvE, but they don't want to nerf it or whatever, they can make it so you can't infuse it above a certain light level, and then you can only use it in like outside of that game mode. I always thought that was a good solution. Like when Icebreaker and things got left behind, I thought that was a good thing, because then you still had them as like a gimmicky thing you could pull out at any time and like quick play or control or whatever it was called back then, but you couldn't bring it into the super competitive like Trials of Osiris or Iron Banner or anything like that.
What do you got against the stubborn oak, XO?
The stubborn oak is like, I don't know, I dismantled it. I don't have it.
Shouldn't you be more concerned about that azimuth? I mean, it's two-tapping people like crazy, right? He's been telling me all week, I gotta get this azimuth blue hand cannon because it can two-tap people with kill clip. I'm like, yeah, but you have to kill somebody with it first. That's the problem, to get kill clip.
Yeah, well, like I mean, I'd like to play with it, but that's just more. That's honestly just more me.
I literally like dismantled two on stream.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on from that, Rumble will be making its triumphant return. And I like where they're going with this. They're saying they're going old school. You don't get any points for assists. You get 1 point when you get a kill. And they're increasing the player count to 8. I don't know how I feel about that. We're gonna have to see how it works with connections for sure. That'll be interesting. But I guess if they can do 16 or if they can do 12 people, they can do 8 people. I guess that's not too big of a deal.
Yeah.
Are some of these modes gonna be dedicated servers, or do they?
No.
Do we even know?
Not unless they're waiting to surprise us with that with a DLC, but no.
No, they're using the Call of Duty matchmaking system is exactly what they're doing. But they're using it.
Call of Duty has dedicated servers.
Well, they still have lobbies though. You still like log in with the like. Does the Call of Duty have?
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
You're telling me the new Call of Duty has dedicated servers, World War II?
I'm pretty sure most Call of Duties for like the past couple of years have had dedicated servers.
I mean, it doesn't matter, but
yeah.
I didn't.
But yeah, we're not getting dedicated server. I mean, unless they're gonna surprise us.
I don't think it's gonna make. I mean, it's fine. Like we played peer-to-peer 6v6 and D1. It's fine as long as the player pop is large enough.
I'm not gonna say it's fine, but I'm learning to live with it at this point. I'd say, but I'm really excited about this. This is an example of something. They're not just going back to dedicated, or they're not just going back to Destiny 1. They're making this better, because in Destiny 1, the rule set actually sucked for Rumble, because it was like, if you killed the person in first place, you got like an unfair amount of points for no reason. Even though it's just a random person running around, it would give you like 250 points, where like a normal person would give you like 100.
Yeah. If you got a first place kill, you got like 50 extra points, and if you killed him with a nade or a melee, you got more points for killing him with something other than your primary.
I know.
If you used a super,
it made no sense. It made the whole scoring system was so dumb. Like you could be in first place by like 5-6 kills, and then like end up losing to somebody with less kills than you by the end. It just because you would die to them over and over again. But this sounds like a great rule
I took
set.
advantage of that system quite a bit. I liked it.
You have to be kidding me. That was
you actually got more points for running around sticking everyone you saw than you did for running around primarying people.
Yeah.
You got more points for
the point of what they were trying to do was they were trying to de-emphasize the primary ammo, and because what they wanted to have happen is they wanted to have you use your energy weapon, and those were weaker, but those gave you more points for doing so. Now they want, it's almost seems like it's the opposite. Like they want you to use your kinetic, and they want the secondary to be like not even used.
Well, they wanted to be niche and like powerful, but like something you have to fight for. Which, more gunplay I'm into. The more gunplay, the better. I like it.
Yep. Mayhem is still mayhem, so I guess that means nothing's changing about that.
Sum that up for us.
Their 3 modes are going to share a central location on the director. They're going to rotate weekly. I'm fine with that. We don't have the player population to really support these always being available, I guess. So at least like we're going to have some variability where we'll have one of these extra playlists each week,
Yeah.
Mode formerly known as doubles is still in its, I don't even know what this word is. Chrysalis, yeah. I don't know what that means. Anyway, it's making a slow transition from what you played during Crimson Days to become a beautiful butterfly.
It's a chrysalis is a pupa of a butterfly.
I thought it was pronounced chrysalis.
Whatever.
Okay.
I mean, I really don't know. I'm not trying to.
It's an insect pupa, so it's basically like the little tiny little bud that before it becomes it's a bad word choice for what they were trying to go for.
Okay.
I dropped out of the 3rd grade to.
Well, they're trying to make a metaphor about a butterfly, but then they're like telling you about photosynthesis and stuff, and it's like you don't want to know that stuff. They should just say like it's blossoming into a butterfly. Like,
okay. Anyway, it seems like basically they're saying they liked how Crimson Days played. They're gonna make some modifications, aka I hope they scale back the whole grenade spam that was going on. But other than that, it was pretty fun. So
more polish and more flexibility.
Yep. And it'll be on the roadmap soon, I guess. So I hope that's not really far out if they have to put it on the roadmap,
June.
Yeah. Hey guys, it's slated for 2022. It'll be here in the rotating playlist pretty soon. Don't worry.
Well, no, they said. Oh. So basically, they're just working on it. What it is they're working on it, and they don't know how far out it is yet.
Exactly.
But I would imagine at least 2 months, at the minimum 2 months. So we might see it in May.
Oh God, I hope it's by May. And that's the quitter penalties. Huffy's gonna want to talk about this when he gets back, but
we can continue talking about the doubles. I mean, because doubles I don't know if the way they're talking about it is they want it to be a better mode that is less skip grenadey, probably, if I had to guess.
Right.
Like they know what the issues actually are.
Less
they
pulse grenadey too.
Yeah, pulse grenades, like less grenadey in general.
Yeah.
But
well, the double nades are the biggest problem. That's why those two specifically were a problem, because you had Titans with double pulse nades and Hunters with double skip nades, and it made you could throw like 6 to 7 grenades every minute, which was just nuts. So I think that's what they're trying to tune back. I don't know why it's going to take so long, or why it can't come in March with the rotating playlist, but
they're fighting themselves. They have and it's not even really the community, it's what they want. They want the grenades to come down to a reasonable amount.
Well, I want them to come down too, but I want it to be, so it's 1:20 now. Like I said before, I want it to be about 45 seconds before you get it back.
I think we all agreed on that. I think that's all. But I think Bungie kind of sees that too. Like Bungie knows it's got to come down. But if they bring it down, what's going to happen to this mode?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to adjust the playlist accordingly and do playtesting. So I understand why it can't come back immediately. Because if it came back immediately, it would be the same thing we got in Crimson Doubles. Which I'd be fine with because I really liked that, but they want to do something different, which is fine with me.
So the way they make it sound makes it sound like it's not coming in May.
Last thing on this Crucible list, I wanted to wait for you to come back, Huffy. The quitter penalties are being put in this 1.1.4 patch this month. What do you think they're going to do? What can they do as far as quitter penalties?
So I know what they're not going to do. And they need to find out how to do in the long term is to create a system that doesn't punish you for quitting but rewards you for staying. It makes you want to stay.
I think it has to be both. Carrot and
you mean
stick,
like two more blues and a anchor?
Oh,
two more blues and a
you know that's not what I mean, you know?
No, I do. I know, yeah. But like what could they possibly reward me with? Let's say me as an example.
Yeah.
They could just give you a darkest before every game.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then I'd stay.
I mean, the solutions are long term, unfortunately, but I think with a robust mod system that requires you to farm for parts, like, makes you want to stay, so that the materials you get from breaking down your weapons, even if you already have them, are something that you need. Like, just some like kind of like thirst for materials would be fine. If they were specific to the Crucible, that'd be even better. But as far as like just that's all long term. As far as penalties go, I think the simplest thing that they can. There are two ways they might go about this. I don't know if they're trying to target like the casual player base or like the sweaty player base, but they could. First of all, they need to have like an ELO, like stats need to be affected when you drop out. Like right now, if a team of 4 queues into a game that they're going to lose, you can back out and no team. Like neither of the team's stats are affected on the leaderboards or whatever. So all of the people on Xbox, all of the people at the top of the leaderboard in trials and quick play and comp are all people that back out of 90% of their match.
But so how can they affect stats on a third-party website that is just tracking what they want to track?
The third-party website isn't tracking what they want to track. They're tracking through the Destiny API.
Yeah, they're using Destiny's API, but they are calculating ELO how they want to calculate it. That's not like a stat that's in Bungie's database. They're using the information that Bungie's giving them to make an ELO calculation.
Well, Bungie needs to give them more robust information.
Okay. I don't know that
to track more robust things. I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Bungie needs to track, like last week we talked about. Isn't it going to be great so that we can actually finally? I thought we said last week, and I know we did actually. We talked about how the Crucible engrams and killing 1,000 warlocks and 1,000 titans and like you've all seen the engrams now. Like we've seen what it is. They didn't even bother to track.
I know.
which that you did. They just tracked a total number and divided it by 3.
Yeah, I want to talk about that in a second, but before I lose my train of thought, I want to respond to the 2 solutions Huffy brought up here. So I like your system about the mod components and stuff like that with the mod rework. The only problem here is this is coming now, and obviously mod 2.0 is until probably September or whatever, so that's obviously not what we're getting right this second. Your second point about the now I'm like losing it. What?
Oh yeah, I was trying to set up
a perfect system.
A more casual community, timeouts work for a more competitive community. Stat work.
So the stats thing, if they're gonna put that in game, they're not gonna make like quick play. They're not gonna show ELO and stuff like that in quick play, because then it's just another ranked playlist. You know what I mean? And they're not going to get rid of skill-based matchmaking there either, really. They might tone it back a little bit after rank comes out, but I don't think that they're really going to be able to affect stats too much if people are still going by the third-party websites, which unfortunately they're going to have to for quick play if they care about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
what I'm scared about, I mean, this relates to ranked. What I'm scared about with ranked is like the way the tracking. Or I'm scared that the tracking is going to be just like ELO put on our emblems.
Mm-hmm.
And if it is, then it's literally just going to be people running around in 4-mans and still backing out if they're going to lose, taking the timeouts, whatever.
Yeah, that's a legitimate concern, because I don't know if they've play tested for that or thought about that, you know. Yeah. Let's hope for the best. I hope that they... I would think in a ranking system they would have to penalize you for quitting. Like, that is so easy. That's so intuitive, you know.
Let's hope.
They used to do it in Halo. I mean, I know that there's a lot of things that don't happen in this game that happen in Halo, but if you quit out of a ranked game, you know, it is what it is. Even if you disconnect, sorry. It's just the only way it can go.
Yeah.
They could probably make exceptions for certain error codes, but they don't want people to be able to manipulate the system. So,
yeah.
Well, if you could find a way to get yourself to be weaseled every single time, like error code weasel or butterfly or whatever animal that you get, baboon, you know. Some
of that stuff server side though, right? Like people wouldn't be able to mimic some of those things.
Right. Yeah. Some of them, like even a lot. Well, a lot. Hold on one second.
HK's dead. I mean. Exo is dying.
Exo.
A lag switch would if you use a lag switch, it would immediately give you a like an error code or like a connection code.
Right.
That crap still exists. I
think like Centipede is what it would give you, right? So if you did that, it'd be like, well, you know,
it was on your end.
Centipeded.
Yeah, it was on your end, so it's still a hit, you know.
Right.
All right, so back to what you were saying about the emblem variants, though. I am super disappointed that they weren't really able to distinguish between the Hunter Titan melee kills. They just divided by 3 because it makes the emblem essentially pointless. The variants don't mean anything. If you had
it means something from now on.
Yeah, but it only goes... If it's only 1,000... I don't know what the average number of kills are, but like as long as you had at least 3,000 kills total... you have all 3 of those variants. There's nothing to grind for at all.
I have 15,000. It just did like 5,000 divided by 5,000 in each one, and I had them all.
When I first saw it, I literally thought like, whoa, that's so weird. I'm an equal opportunity killer, you know? And then
I honestly thought it was like balanced. Yeah, I was like, wow, this game is really balanced of people picking between warlocks, titans, and hunters.
Yeah, I was
this
like,
really
I was
weird.
baffled by it. And then when I heard that, I was really upset. So I want to see that variant system expanded on, man. I'd rather see it be like, you know, instead of just like the Hunter Warlock melee thing, I'd rather see it be like, this is for 10,000 kills. This is for 25,000 kills. This is for 50,000 kills, you know, and 100%. Unlocking variants that way, a progression, linear progression, Bungie. Linear progression, don't be afraid of it. Seriously.
That's more horizontal progression though, because like for that, it goes across the map.
Because I'm moving my hands sideways, it's horizontal.
No, because like an emblem is like this way, right? It's not like this way. You wouldn't really be able to see the emblem, like the name.
Hey, if you went down,
I don't know if you guys know this or not, but horizontal is a linear direction. Yep. Yeah, it is. It's linear. There's a line going from point A
Sounds
to
like
point
When did
aliens
you
B.
to
drop
me.
out? 6th grade?
Third.
So Nightfall scoring.
Now we're into the real crap. I think
Yes.
we all have opinions, strong opinions about this.
Okay, go first because I really want to yell my opinions because I feel so strongly about it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead and start it off. That's
Really?
fine. Yeah.
I get to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't give a crap about the numbers. Strikes have never been this fun.
Oh.
Like when you crank that thing up to 3 times the modifier and you're like playing your cover, like team shooting Cabal and using your supers effectively and like trying to get as many points as possible and go fast, like it's amazing. My number sucks on my emblem. Asa has like a way better score than me. But like I've never had so much fun playing a strike in my life. Best PvE content they've ever dropped. 8 thumbs up. Yes. More, please. Thanks.
Yeah, so I agree. I had a lot of fun with it. I haven't really been running Nightfalls, and I played it multiple times this week, grinding, trying to get a higher score and stuff like that. And I think that that, like you said, the extra difficulty makes it a lot more fun. I think that threat of getting kicked to orbit mechanic being built in is great.
Well,
I really like that fear of death. It brings a whole new element to the game that has been missing.
This week, though, they said that's not always going to be the modifier, and we're going to be able to change the modifiers, and the modifiers that we change will give us more points, more of a multiplier depending upon which modifier we use.
See, so I thought that and I'll read this in a second, but I thought that they said they left no modifiers built into the strike because they just wanted to test out the system. But I thought that the kick to orbit thing is going to be in there going forward.
That is a modifier on the emblem.
Right.
Like the modifier for this week is if you all 3 die, you get kicked to orbit. Next week it'll be something extreme, and then it'll rotate.
Oh, so you won't be able to choose.
So eventually, they've said that you'll be able to unlock modifiers as they go.
Okay.
So, yeah, you'll be able to unlock them.
Hopefully, you can apply multiple of them. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be nice. If I could get kicked to orbit and have Cabal like.
I kind of want that kick to orbit thing built in, man. I don't think that should be taken out at all. I think if you're gonna do the prestige version, and you're gonna go for a challenge, I think that should just be the baseline, probably.
Well, it's kind of in the vein of Destiny, the first Destiny, Nightfalls and stuff.
Yeah.
But without the ability to stand still because you want to finish with a high score.
Yeah.
So let's talk about these variants and how stupid this is. We have 4 tiers here of variants, as you can see, for score thresholds: 20K, 40K, 60K, 80K. They say for each variant, your chances from 0 to as high as 50% at specific score thresholds per variant. This makes no sense whatsoever. The tooltip literally says unlocks at a certain score threshold. That's not what happens. And it's like, okay, I could get the one variant, at 40K, but I could get no variants at all. I could get a different variant at 40K. I could get
you could go to 80. You could go to 80K.
None of these emblems
get the worst RNG and get no emblems.
None of these emblems actually mean anything. Like if you see somebody with one of these emblems, you're gonna be like, "That's cool. I have no idea what that means." Like he randomly got that. Okay, congratulations. I don't know what to say about it. What were they thinking? I mean, this is just so crazy. Seriously, I can't excuse this. This is like, what a weird thing to do, right?
I mean, dude, it's weird, but I mean, it's weird.
It seems like they
Well, I have
wanted
to
to
think
give
about what-
people something to grind for, but they didn't think about how this would play out. Like, why would you want to grind for these random emblems that don't mean
technically,
anything?
they do cause
Especially
you
if
to
the
have to
random
grind
emblems
more.
have RNG.
If you
behind
care
them.
about having them, yeah. I don't know why you would.
But then they should unlock at that threshold, not be a random chance to unlock at that threshold.
I get
I
that it's
agree.
a collection game. You want everything. So if you say, I want to grind until I have all these things checked off, okay, but you're not going to wear them. That's the whole point of an emblem, is to wear them. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that it would have been ideal if there were score thresholds. That being said, they did say that they didn't really know how to set the score thresholds yet because they said they admitted that we're better than them at their video game and they weren't sure what a good score would be.
Right.
And I wasn't sure on the first day when like my friends were grinding as hard as they freaking could and they got 110k and everybody on Xbox was like trying to get like 111k and it was like, oh, this is really hard. And then they come out in the TWAB and they're like, yeah, the high score is 228k.
Yeah, which is so. I want to talk about that for a second. I was blown away when I first heard that, but apparently they're basically like exploiting the game to get those scores. They have one person going off into a lost sector and farming it over and over again while the other two people progress through the strike. So that's not really how it was intended. I think they're going to have to work on that, not give people points for lost sectors.
Yeah, well, that obviously wasn't intended, but I guess it does start off in the regular player space.
Well, they
Yeah,
all
but
start off.
this is how it's always been. Like, so I know in Destiny 1, there was a website to track these kind of scores and stuff like that before they put the scoring system in and leaderboards. They never put leaderboards in for it. And Dado was like obsessed with being number one. So he went through every Nightfall and tried to get the highest score out of anybody on the leaderboards. And he got to number one on every single one except the ones with a public area where you could just infinitely kill monsters. Because that's what, like, there would just be people sitting there all day long just killing the same things over and over again to infinitely grind their score up. So they did fix a lot of the ways you could exploit that, but I guess they didn't think about the lost sectors, and they have to they got to find a way to disinclude the lost sectors in the score somehow.
Well,
it's
I
not
mean, they
fun.
can have it so that there's no enemies spawn. Like, you're not spawning in the area. You're spawning in an area like
It's instanced, right? You can't end up with random people in your area.
It should be that way, but it's not. That's the problem.
No, but
I
I don't know if it was just random, but when I played the Nightfall and started on Mercury, I never saw random people in there. Did you guys?
I mean, I've seen him in other strikes.
Right, but not in the Nightfall specifically. Not in this Nightfall.
Not in this Nightfall, but I've seen him in other Nightfalls.
So that's what I'm saying. I think this week they made the public space instanced. So you can't have people killing your beginning mobs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's probably the case. And if that's the case, then just make the lost sector not spawn in the instanced version of the strike. Hopefully that's an easy fix.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I don't know.
I'm not a game dev, but
Yeah.
I'm sure
It
that
doesn't
they'll
sound
come
like
up with
a simple
creative-
line of code, but it doesn't sound like something that would take like more than a week.
Yeah, definitely not simple, but not too bad.
So I'm gonna skip over this because we kind of talked about the tiers and stuff, but I want to talk about why the Nightfall modifiers were removed and see if we can understand what we were arguing about before. Removal
makes sense
of
to me.
base modifiers from the Nightfall is because we want to emphasize more core combat. So base modifiers, right?
Yes.
And in this initial release, let the community define the meta for high-scoring Nightfall run. We can revisit these modifiers in the future. They're not dead and buried. So
2 thumbs up.
that to me, EXO, tells me that I think that kick to orbit thing is staying, like I was saying, and there's going to be a base modifier on top of that built into the strike. Maybe they're going to think about bringing them back.
What that
Well,
says?
Well, what they're talking about though is they're talking about the two
Right.
modifiers that were active during that other
Momentum,
one.
inertia, and the rings, the time warp
But when you
stuff.
look at when you look at the Nightfall, you look at the modifier that is in the position that it is right now, and there's like a slew of things that you could potentially select, or that was selectable, but you didn't know what they were.
Okay.
So it's like one modifier, and each of them give you a difference of multiplier. Like they impact the multiplier, not so much the other thing. Like you could play on a -40 and a point for 3.65.
Yeah.
And pick a different modifier and have it modify your score less
Okay.
or more, depending upon if it's harder or not.
And other than just the modifiers they took out, I'd like to also see some of the modifiers we saw go away from Destiny 1 come back. I know one, like light switch, like one of the really interesting combinations in Destiny 1 was light switch and being kicked to orbit, because like if you got meleeed once, you were dead, and then your whole team could just wipe. I mean, it was kind of like chaotic and fun. So
Well, I mean, like being kicked to orbit's fine for certain modifiers, but it's like impossible with others. If it was on Exodus Crash or whatever, and you didn't have, or anything that you don't like, just like explode your supers on right away. I mean,
yeah, but so Exodus
there's
Crash is just like a strike you're gonna skip anyway, so I wouldn't worry about that one.
they'll never make it a Nightfall ever again.
Yeah. I mean, they have to change the boss fight in that one.
They have to change that boss fight.
Yeah.
Why? You literally, it takes this, whether you were the best at Exodus Crash or the worst at Exodus Crash,
Yeah.
the boss fight takes the same amount of time.
Health gates are stupid. Health
gates
gates
are
yeah, I mean, or at least if you're really like philosophical about those health gates for whatever reason, then you need to make less health gates, because like he has like 7. There's 7.
They're like 7.
Oh, jeez.
He goes away and comes back. And it's
Yeah.
bad.
Well, why don't we have bars then? Why don't we have 7 bars for that boss?
I mean, I wouldn't care. It would still be bad. Just give me 3.
Yeah, I don't like
and
it.
don't make.
I would rather you just get rid of it. Just get rid of the health gates altogether.
Chuck the strike.
Well,
Just
you should be able to push it. No. But you should be able to push the health gates.
Yeah.
You should be able to push him into the next one or skip it, just like you can do with the arms dealer.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can push his health gates, and he doesn't do anything, or he skips certain mechanics because you're actually good at the game.
Yeah, and well, every other strike, like if you take like the inverted
And
spire,
I say that with a straight face too.
you take
Let's
like
go,
the inverted spire, he's health gated technically. He moves to a different level when you hit a certain health threshold. But if you do so much damage in so much period of time, you can go past that gate if you do it quick enough. So you can actually
exactly. That's the point.
Right.
But if you do that in Exodus Crash, you don't see him for 2, 3, and 4, and you just see the waves of ads that you see for that time. You're basically sitting there in the middle going, why am I seeing constant ads and no boss?
Yeah. And then he comes out of nowhere invisible and hits you. You're like, okay, thanks.
And he's the,
back
the
to
same
orbit.
Size.
Yo, the only thing that would be worse is if he had the stomp mechanic. Oh my god. So that's pretty much it for Nightfalls, but I'm really excited to see hopefully the Nightfall unique strike rewards this month. I think it'll make it, like, a lot of people aren't interested in this yet because there's nothing to grind for, because I was doing it purely out of fun.
Because emblems aren't something to grind for.
Right. I was doing it purely out of fun to top my own score, but I do think that it'll help a lot when there's Nightfall specific rewards to it.
I think it'd be nice if they were related to score. I don't think that's going to happen, but I would love to have to break a threshold to earn a reward.
Coffee, if you got 80K, you would get a 50% chance to get something that you would actually want.
That I'm fine with. No. Let me be clear.
Like not emblems, but the other thing.
Not emblems, but with armor, I am.
But listen, so like you could increase your drop chance, but make it 100% at a certain threshold.
No.
Like but hey, listen, make there be 4 items, 20, 40, 60, 80, and if you get a 80K, you get 100% chance drop to get that 20K item, and there's an item in each one. So there's a 25% chance and a 100% chance. So if you absolutely crush it, you do 200,000, you should get like 100% chance to get all of it.
I think once they remove the lost sectors thing, 200,000 probably won't be possible, but we'll see with the other strikes.
I would love, like, I'm fine if there are like multiple drops for each strike. I understand what you're saying there, and I'm totally cool with that. But I want something. I just need a few things in Destiny 2. Like, I want to have something that I can grind for an item.
Yeah.
Literally until the game drops, and I want my shitty RNG to prevent me from getting it. I want there to be something in Destiny 2 that I never get.
I think there's going to be some salt about this score, this 222,000 thing. I mean, you saw how bad it was with the first Prestige clear with the Wardcliff coil glitch, and how people were like, that's not legit and stuff like that. I think this is going to be the same thing.
Worse, they could go the other way. I mean, and we could think about, you know, one of the things that they could go, and one of the things that I'm dreading by the way they're saying that is going, oh, you know, hey, you think you can beat them before the reset? We'll post this top scores next Tuesday after the reset. So what if, like you're saying, like, this is still a work in progress, and even they've said it, like, they don't know where the bar should be.
Oh yeah,
what if they raise the bar to 80K?
Well, 80K is possible. I'd be okay with it.
What if they raise the bar to 100K? Yeah. You know, like, what if they do that?
No, because like 100K has got to be top 1% if you're doing it
it's
legit.
Very different,
you know,
but
so I think
you can't do that at how many? What percentage is like the doable one? They said like 2.1 was the one that felt like the old Prestige Nightfall.
Right. Yep.
Which was like -8 or -9 or something like that, -10 maybe, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm. So this next section, I'm just going to quickly say they've got 5 paragraphs here, but basically all they're saying is the spawning glitch in the raid, they're trying to work on fixing it, but it's really hard. That's it.
Memory issue due to size and complexity of the activity.
Yeah. So
requires work.
Yeah.
And they seem to be averting that. So.
Oh my god. Yeah. So hopefully they get that fixed.
I'm so sorry. That was too savage, I think.
You know what I mean?
I didn't say
I'm
anything.
Not a coder,
all I said was they're trying to fix it. I didn't just blame EXO. He's the new negative EXO. He replaced HK. HK was so positive. We got this new EXO guy. He's such a jerk.
No. But yeah, I mean, they're basically saying, at least they're being honest about it. So they're telling us they know it's an issue now. So we're not like, does Bungie even know? Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, they know now. Everyone knows that they know now, and
right.
And that's kind of the point of those 5 paragraphs, to say, hey, you know, we know, we yep. we see it happening. It sucks. We hate it.
Yeah.
And we want it fixed, but it's gonna take a little bit more time than what you think.
I felt the same way when they explained, like, hey guys, we know snipers suck, but we can't fix it for a while.
At least they know.
I'm saying
like,
I felt the same way about that.
You felt the same way that what I'm
like
saying,
they acknowledged
like,
it, but I feel disappointed that it's going to take so long to fix. But yes.
Yeah. At least we know that they know now.
Right.
Like before we were like, I don't even think they even know.
Right.
Like, is this like the Wardcliff glitch where they're sticking their head in the sand, or
right.
what is this?
Right. Yeah, except the Wardcliff glitch, like, people don't want them to fix that at this point. They think it's like a part of the game, you know. It is the heavy synth. It's the heavy synth replacement, because we don't have
But
those.
it is interesting to note that if you want to change your gear, you have to stick around the other. You can do it, but you just have to be right next to your players when you do it.
Mm.
Yeah.
You can't do it. And I even found out that it has to do, like, even inspecting another piece of armor can cause the issue.
Oh wow.
So some other known glitches that came up with this patch, they broke the Mercury Heroic Adventures.
Permanently?
Well, they're
we don't want you to do them.
No, but the modifiers have been disabled by accident. I guess they're somehow tied to the Nightfalls. When they disabled the modifiers for the Nightfalls, it disabled them in the Heroic Adventures. I haven't done a Heroic Adventure since
I haven't done a Heroic. I mean, I haven't done a public event in 2 weeks, so
yeah. It's been since December for me, but it would suck for anybody who's like right now grinding through the Curse of Osiris content, you know, which
Seems
is
fine to me. It's easier for them to do it. So, I mean, no modifiers.
potentially, but I mean, it's like diluting the experience. You know what I mean?
I didn't really care for the modifiers either, though. For the most part, those
Yeah,
modifiers
honest.
kind of.
I don't care that much. I'm just saying, like, it is something they acknowledged they broke by accident, so they're gonna try and fix that. The destination emblem statistics have been kind of screwed up. The EDZ is only displaying 38 out of the 41 ghost scannables. Okay. So if you have that emblem and you're like,
What?
I have everything, why isn't it showing them all? It's broken. So hopefully they get that fixed. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I deleted those emblems as soon as I saw them. I was like, why do I care about the? They should have made it, I think, instead of each destination having its own emblem, it should have just been like, here's all of the destinations in one emblem.
Well, I mean, they even had it in Destiny. No, not to harp on Destiny 1, but Destiny 1 had very similar issues as well with what was it, it wasn't an emblem, but it was like items and stuff that you even like the quests and patrols, and because patrols are the adventures now. Or patrols are patrols, but adventures are like the quests, and then obviously the quests are bigger than that even. So
Okay.
but they had gold chests in Destiny 1, right?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
But like, what happens if you get the gold chest in Destiny 2?
Well, what happened in Destiny 1? All it did was mark it off the map and give you like a stupid
No, it gave
green
you a
item.
sparrow. It gave you a 150 sparrow for doing it all. A gold sparrow or whatever. Gave you something for it. For doing all of them.
Yeah.
For all of them on a planet, you mean?
Yeah.
All of them all together, all 40.
And you got like
I don't even
random
remember that.
rewards from each of the chests, like which were helpful throughout the story.
If you did them throughout the
big thing
story, they were bad. If
Yeah.
you went back and did them later, it was like, why do I need these green things? You know, but
Yeah. The big thing about the chests to me is the same reason I was dissatisfied with the lost sectors. Like, just give me chests and give me lost sectors and give me a whole bunch of stuff. Put stuff all over the map that is not
marked on the map.
on the map.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm a poopy butthole and I go on the internet and look up a guide, like 41 sector
Yeah.
location,
Yep.
then that's fine. But, like, I don't want to see it on the map.
Yeah, and I mean, if you want to put it on there after you've discovered it, that's fine. But not like, go here.
I'm like,
go
here's a
here,
point of interest
go
on the
here.
map. Go find, go see
Yeah.
what's there. Oh,
Yeah.
if you look,
It takes the
and there's a key
exploration
in this
all
map,
out of
too.
it. I mean, at this point, like, there's no reason for me to do public events. There's no reason for me to do lost sectors. There's no reason for me to look for those chests. Like, why am I even going to the planets? You know, there's just no reason to at all.
Yeah.
So they have to rework that entirely. I
What's
think.
weird is that, like, with Destiny 1, right, the problem I hated so much was that you spent so much time in orbit that because you had to transfer from orbit to do anything. And you couldn't do anything outside of
You're
going
still
to
doing
the
that in
tower.
Destiny 2. All it's doing is like.
But it's reversing it. It's making you not want to go to the planets and stay in orbit so you can go do the thing you want to go do.
Right. But what I was going to say is, like, you're saying in Destiny 1 you couldn't go, like, say you're in the tower, you couldn't go directly into an activity. You still
Right.
can't do that. But what it'll do is it'll let you select it from the director, and then basically it'll take you into orbit and immediately start loading that activity. So it just cuts out a few seconds. It's not
Right. I
really
mean, it
anything.
still cuts out
nice,
those couple of seconds, but the problem is now the problem is reversed to where we don't want to go in there. We want to stay in orbit. We don't even want to go to the tower anymore. We just want to stay in orbit, and we want to wait until we want to go do what we want to go do.
Yeah.
We're going to go to the tower to unlock our engrams and leave.
Yeah, and delete a bunch of blues and clear out your postmaster.
Yeah. And pick up stuff that we have to pick up.
Right.
Because we can't not pick it up and say, no, I don't want that.
Right.
Get rid of it.
So I don't really understand this. The prestige challenge card score multipliers are apparently broken a little bit. I don't know if it's like actually broken or just a tooltip, but they're saying it's an issue where the score multipliers present on challenge cards do not update properly when players are selecting the singe modifiers. It sounds like it's just a tooltip problem.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a tooltip thing.
I haven't noticed that bug in game, so I don't know. Maybe it's just like
no.
a temporary thing or something, like a glitch, but
So what's the bug though? They haven't even said.
They're just saying it's not displaying right, or
Oh, but it is actually doing it.
that's what it seems like. It's kind of vague, the wording here. I mean, I read it exactly.
Yeah, I haven't experienced the issue, so I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
Players may work around this issue by toggling the power handicap up or down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet. I mean,
I don't even know what it
bug.
is though.
I don't either.
That's what I'm saying.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, if we don't know what it is, then
I think it's just a tooltip issue. Like
But, like,
probably if you put the singe on.
After you select that singe modifier, make sure you do it up and down so that you can get. Maybe what I'm thinking it is they're because they don't want to say it. Maybe what I think it is I think it's not applying the singe 25% properly.
I think they would have to be more specific about it if that was the case, because if it was actually causing a mechanic in the game to be broken, like, we need to know the workaround.
They're not being very specific though.
Yeah, because I think it's literally just a tooltip thing. You select it, and it's not like updating your tooltip properly. I'm pretty sure that's what they're saying. But
of all the things for us to like focus and spend time on,
right?
I don't think
10 minutes on this.
Yeah,
I don't think the known issue that none of us have experienced.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I don't even know what it is though. I would like for them to tell me, hey,
okay,
there's a problem. This is what it is. This is what it's causing.
Okay. All right. So that's pretty much it for the TWAB, though. Nice. I think we did pretty good on time. It's not too bad. We'll move on to questions now.
I take questions. I have this piece of pie in front of me, and I have been trying my darndest not to eat it, but I haven't.
Go ahead, eat it. Who cares?
It's only going up on YouTube and posterity and forever. Internet. Plus, I hope like it's 2 years from now you'll be like, that pie was delicious, guys.
It's gonna bother HK that you're eating near your computer too, so it's worth it.
Oh,
he raged at me the other night because I was like, oh my god, I'm so hungry. I'm gonna reheat my chicken tenders. I brought him over and he's like, don't eat near your computer. Don't do it.
It's bad for your computer.
Sorry, let me
Dude, just put the pie directly on your keyboard and eat it off the keyboard.
Let me. I don't want to get anything on my floor. Let me use my keyboard here.
Oh my god! Yes, yes, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's gross.
Yeah.
All right, so we got one Twitter question. If you guys want to load up some questions into the chat, go ahead.
Q&A time, guys.
Yeah, Q&A time.
Fill in the questions. And answers we will give.
So we are going to start with the one Twitter question. Reesnaw asks, with the new Iron Banner 6v6 and Rumble 8v8, which is not 8v8, but it's 1v7, whatever, however you want to say it, every man for himself, 8-person is what he meant. Do you think regular game modes will follow? I guess he's asking, like, are they going to add more rotating playlists, capture the flag? I hope so. I really do.
No, not capture the flag. They can't do that.
It's
complicated. They have to change geometry.
Yeah, I want to see more game modes, though. I really do. I want to see a lot of them.
I think having, God, it's Bungie. Make a Juggernaut. Like, I don't even care if they rip off the name. Just call it what it is. Mm-hmm. They're like, yeah, we call it, Supremacy is what was it? Was it Supremacy in Destiny 1 or no?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which is the same as Kill Confirmed in Call of Duty.
Kill Confirmed, yeah. It's the same thing as Kill Confirmed. Or that's the dog tags, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. You kill and then you kill confirm, yeah.
But yeah, capture the flag, oddball, I don't know. The limitation that they kind of have is with it being a looter shooter, they can't do like it seems like they're gonna have trouble doing like set loadouts. Like, we want this to be pulse rifle playlist or something like that. Like, I don't know if they have the capability of doing that or not.
Well, all they would do in that case is be like, this is a pulse rifle playlist. If you're not playing with a pulse rifle, literally, we're going to make your gun unusable. We're going to lock it so you can't even select it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't know, like they haven't really talked about doing that. They've never done anything like that before, but they are doing it in the raid, so maybe they
So
can.
the 6v6 and the 8v8, I mean, like, will regular game modes follow, as in where we're gonna get like a 12v12, or like, because remember Big Team Battle was like that, and that was still in there. Like that was even 8v8, or wasn't it 8v8 or 12v12? I can't
It was
remember.
AV8.
I'm talking about Halo,
Yeah,
like
it was
Halo 3
AV8,
and
I
Halo
think.
4.
That was Big Team Battle 8v8. Yep.
I thought it was 12v12.
No.
It was AV8.
Yeah, I know it was 16 people for sure.
I'm 8,000%
Dude,
positive.
With it, can you imagine the connections?
Blood
How
Belt and
bad it would have
Coagulation
been?
were enormous maps that everybody wanted to play on, but they were a lot of fun with AVA.
Yeah, and you had vehicles too. So
Yeah.
Vehicles.
Bring back vehicles. What?
yeah, that's
No,
a-
no.
What?
No.
Well, that's an interesting thing though, because they don't have a map big enough to support them.
Yeah, but even like so in
I think
Destiny
that's the point.
1,
I think that's why they did it that way.
in Destiny
Yeah.
1 there was 3 maps with vehicles, like, and the vehicles were just so underwhelming. I don't know what happened. Why there's no good vehicle design, banshees, stuff like that. There's not any flying vehicles in this game at all.
And clearly, the creative team went to Microsoft.
4 vehicles.
mean,
Yeah,
For Destiny,
it's a space magic
it's
game.
different. It's different too, because in Halo, I mean, I don't think it's like a lack of creativity thing. It's also like it doesn't work great with the Destiny franchise. Halo is like one of the most mobile shooters. I mean, Destiny is one of the most mobile shooters in history, and Halo is one of the most immobile shooters. Like your movement speed is so slow in Halo.
Mhm.
You know, like compared to like modern day shooters, like the thrill of like getting on a ghost and being able to get across the map was like big.
Mhm.
With Destiny, like especially in D1 with Titan skating, it almost felt bad
Right.
to get on a Sparrow, you know, or
Yeah.
like one of the maps, one of the vehicles on the maps. I don't know. I think it played differently in Destiny 2, but
We're not
But
fast enough in Destiny 2, but I mean, I think they think that as well.
yeah,
Yeah, they're
I mean,
working on that.
I'm excited about the thing.
Well, it is an
The-
interesting evolution, though. The beta of Destiny 1, the vehicles and those like turrets that they had on First Light were actually so good that people complained about them. They said it was like ruining the game, so they toned them back to the point where they were so bad that just like shooting an auto rifle across the map was better. So, I don't know. I guess they just decided to ditch
Well, they
the
went from
concept
one extreme to
entirely.
the other.
Yeah.
They did the same thing with auto rifles, and then they went with year 1 auto rifles were great, year 2 auto rifles were terrible, year 3 auto rifles were great again.
Mhm.
You know, and the same thing with every single exotic and every single thing.
Yeah.
Like year 2 seemed to be like, if it was great in year 1, it was probably terrible in year 2.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They just flipped it on its side.
All right.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's impossible to fairly balance vehicles. It's just not possible to have balanced vehicles,
Yeah.
like in a sandbox. Like
Well, no,
like,
it
it's
is.
going to
I
be
mean,
fun.
I don't know about in Destiny, but like Halo, I think was balanced the way that they had vehicles in it. Absolutely, you had weapons that could counter. You could shoot a Banshee with an SMG and take it down.
Yeah, you could.
So I think they were balanced. You had the rockets that would track only vehicles, and they could be
Yeah.
dodged certainly, but I mean, I don't know. I think it was balanced.
Now we have rockets that track people.
Yeah.
No, we had rockets that track people. The ones that track people now are like pretty limp. Like it's
Yeah.
pretty limp tracking. Like you used to be able to do a 360 and the rocket would curve around. Now it's like, and you just get a little nudge.
I feel like tracking was never really that good, to be honest. Like for
In Destiny
PvP.
1?
Yeah, no, people used grenades and what was it? Grenades and horseshoes or whatever. And
I think the truth was the most popular rocket
because
launcher
that had
for a
both.
reason.
It had
We
both.
did have both. That's true.
But and it had aggressive tracking. That was the only
Yeah.
one with aggressive tracking on it. But the grenades and horseshoes was ridiculous because you could just point and click, and it like if they were on your screen, then it would proximity detonate. You know.
Yeah.
You have any questions there, HK?
No.
No? Okay, I've got one, which is almost the same question we just had. What PvP game mode would you like to see in Destiny 2?
Juggernaut.
Okay.
Yep.
Capture the flag.
Oddball.
Oddball. Interesting.
They don't have to call it Juggernaut. They don't have to call it Oddball. They don't have to call it Capture the Flag. But these are modes that we played in Bungie games for years that we want back.
Yeah.
Zombies.
No, zombies. I don't know if I don't know. I don't really care for zombies in Call of Duty, but
No. Halo zombies.
I never played it.
It's like where there's one person is the enemy at the start of the game. It's like
the infected. Yeah.
infection.
Yeah.
We actually the community actually created that game as well because we actually used to play that in a certain map, and if you got killed, you had to change your color of your team, and then like we just did it on our own. So we
it was manual.
hunt the zombies and stuff.
Interesting. That's cool.
That was a community created game as well.
It was great.
Yeah.
But see, I think what they're waiting for is for people like that kind of stuff to come out of private matches, because that's where we all did that. Everyone did that in private matches.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully they give us
these game types.
I hope they give us a little bit of customizable options in the private matches. That would be nice.
I really want custom games, not private matches.
Yeah, but obviously since they're calling them private matches, we're not getting that. Like Halo 2 style custom games would be amazing. You could adjust how fast you ran, like your overshield status, and like how high you could jump. It was crazy, but we're obviously not getting that. So
We don't have a way to share them across platform. Bungie worked really well with Microsoft because they were owned by Microsoft, so they had a lot of the Microsoft tools that they could leverage to save your games and save your playlists and everything. The Forge, you could save your weapons.
Is
in the
that
Forge.
why?
I mean, it makes sense actually.
Well, that was a Microsoft tool, because that's in every Halo game that's now on Microsoft, right? But you don't have that on the PS4, and you don't have that on because that's a lot of server space that would essentially take up.
You'd have to have 3
gigabytes
different
per player.
frameworks, right?
You'd have to have
frameworks, 3 completely different frameworks to keep that. So that's why they're not doing it. But that's kind of sucks, because we'll never play a game like Zombies then if it was created by a player, or something like that will never come out of the community.
Yeah.
Because we won't be able to share them.
Yeah, that sucks. That's
because you could with
I
the
never
old
thought
Halo,
about that.
You could say download my map, download my variant so we can play it.
Yeah. I never
happens
thought
literally all
about
the time.
that being the reason why they don't have this, and that's kind of discouraging if it's like not going to be a possibility ever.
Yeah.
It would be if they go to dedicated servers, because then they could just do rack.
That doesn't make any sense though. Dedicated servers for the player interaction, like I understand they're not investing in that, but they have dedicated servers for data and stuff like that. They obviously have that already.
Bethesda created an interesting like what they did for their multi-platform like mod experience was they uploaded mods to like a central server, and then like only slight like modifications were needed for you to download them onto the platforms. I'm not sure if they could copy like a Bethesda like mod system style of like, I don't know if you played like Fallout 4, like the way
No, I've only played Destiny. Is there any other games out there?
wait, what's a game? Is a game something kind of like Destiny?
I'm literally only familiar with Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah. I mean, Destiny is all there is.
Yep. I don't know the exact system you're talking about, but as far as copying Bethesda,
I think I know. Basically, it's a system. It's some sort of a save system where you can save your stuff is saved in an online universe that other people have access to.
Well, it's just like your custom content that you created for those games, you could upload, and there was a way to like download versions of those modifications for PC, Xbox, or PC.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think they'd have to leverage Sony and Microsoft, and then Activision as well. for that, because Activision Blizzard would have to set aside server space because of Battle.net.
So let's talk.
happen.
Well, I mean, it's not going to happen, but I don't know. Let's talk about the console, the thing, like the rivalry. It seems like, as much as Sony wants to be in a rivalry, the way things are going and how consoles are kind of like falling out of favor and they're not able to keep up with stuff, eventually the cross-platform thing has to happen. You know, I mean, can you imagine if we had cell phones that were like, you can only call people on Verizon if you have Verizon? You know, I mean, it just, at some point, people are going to say, the heck with this. I'm not.
Well, I mean, a one
still
console
do.
future, you got to think of, like, the way I think about it is like, all right, so you have, at some point, someone's going to step forward with the consoles and they're going to say no. And it's going to be like the ESA or ESRB that's going to be like, no. This not how we're going to do things anymore. Because it's got to be an agency like the MPAA to basically say, you're going to produce on DVD. And like DVD is a spec. And all these DVD players,
it's got to be regulated.
If you walk into a television, like a supermarket or a Walmart or whatever, and you go in there and you buy a Blu-ray, you know it's going to play on a Blu-ray player because a Blu-ray player has that. Now, you have a Sony Blu-ray player and a Microsoft Blu-ray player, and those have specific advantages to having those systems, but that Blu-ray still plays on both systems.
Well, if it's a regulation issue, not to get too political, but we're not going to see regulations for a while.
Yeah, and it's not a regulation issue is the thing, though. Microsoft and Sony code, like, their games are coded on completely different, like, styles of engine.
Oh, no, but they could definitely support
it wouldn't be with the ESRB anyway, because the ESRB is completely independent of political it regulates itself. The ESRB regulates.
It's an independent agency,
like,
not a government
Fallout
agency.
4 is built on Unreal, right? Isn't it built on Unreal? But like the way it codes files is completely different from a Sony and a Microsoft system. So like it's more of a complicated.
Everything I've read on the subject says that they don't want to support cross-platform, that it's not a technological hurdle or anything like that.
Microsoft doesn't mind if it's Microsoft and PC.
Mm-hmm.
Sony doesn't mind if it's Sony and PC, but they don't want, neither one of them want to intermingle.
And they have to eventually. I really think they do. I think the competition's good. I don't want to see like one console or anything, but I think that they have to start talking to each other. I mean, it's the internet. It's 2018.
I think in a one console future, though, you'd still see Sony putting out its box and coming up with unique things that only Sony box can give you.
There you go.
Microsoft box would give you other features that only Microsoft box can give you. So, but you would still be able to buy that game in different controllers, and what extra features would I get in said game or whatever? What other things could a platform provide me versus, not so much Xbox Live or PlayStation Network or because the cost is the same now, right? They're both $60
for
a
games,
year. For a year for the service.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but then PC is free, so I don't know.
Yeah, Xbox is dependent on like the denomination of months that you buy. You get the cheapest if you buy a whole year. You have to pay.
But it's still $60, isn't it?
It's really expensive if you buy it.
Well, it's the same thing though. Like it's $60. It's for PlayStation Plus, it's for 3 months. You can buy in 1 month increment, but only in the off of the PlayStation itself. It's $10. And then it's a 3 month is $17.99, and then a year, I think, or 6 months is $39.99, or 24. It's $24.99 for a 3 month for Xbox, right?
No clue.
I don't have a PlayStation.
I don't have either one of them.
We're getting.
And I think I only get PlayStation Plus.
We're getting kind of derailed here, I think.
Destiny, man. Yeah. This is a Destiny GuardianCast.
Anyway.
Nightfalls are good. I'm excited for Rumble.
Yep.
I'm really excited about the PvP balance patch. I hope they give us more info in the next 2 weeks. My name is Huffy on Twitch. You can find me at twitch.tv/HuffyLive.
Yep. My name is Recked, and you can find me on Twitter at at Recked, RECKEDUM, and you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/RECKED_UM.
Name is Exo Fury. You can find me on twitch.tv/Exo Fury, or and you can find me on Twitter, twitter.com/Exo Fury on Twitch.
Yeah, baby.
Bye.
I love